This is Donna with More Than a Review, and I'm so excited to be here with Katy. So I met her online 5 years ago, and when we found out we were going to be at the conference together, it was awesome because this is the first time for us to meet, like in real life. Yeah. And we will talk a little bit about the books that she's writing. I will tell you my favorite was the very first book I read, which was Warning Signs, and it was just an amazing ability to have someone with a disability to be like the hero in the book.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
I just loved that. So, but I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let Katy tell us a little bit about herself and then about the book she's writing.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm Katy Lee. I live in Connecticut and I have 3 children, all teenagers, 16, 17, 18. So all kind of college age right now, and that's kind of a new season for me. And kind of pushing them out of the nest and saying them goodbye. But it's also nice to see them grown and ready to actually take on the world here. So, but yes, I write kind of a collection of genres. I started with romantic suspense, and that is definitely the genre of my heart. And but I've also written 3 Amish romances. I've actually just completed an Amish suspense, and I'm writing a second Amish suspense. But I've also done 4 cozy mysteries, which was interesting for me to step out of the romance genre and focus just on the mysteries, which is bringing me back to my first love, and that is definitely the thriller suspense mystery genre. So that's where I'm heading next. I have this series where my main character is actually going to be the same character through each book of the series. So this is exciting for me to keep her and show her growth through each book and bring her along. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to write her.
So can we tell where they're going to be located?
So the actual books themselves just yet?
Oh, where the storyline.
Oh, with the story. Okay, yeah. So they're going to be actually in Israel and Jordan, which I'm going to be going there this summer for a little research trip, and to just kind of bring in the land there and bring that into the story, make it alive, and like my readers can actually feel like they're there, walking on those holy lands.
Yeah,
so
well, and that's
excited.
Walking where Jesus has walked. That's what we...
Yes,
For those of you who know, I went earlier and I told Katy it's a life-changing experience. Like you never read the Bible the same, like once you've been in some of those locations.
I'm really excited.
So,
really
and I think
excited.
you will. It'll add so much color to the books and authenticity.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Amish series that you have out right now.
Okay, so actually it's not even a series. Each one is a standalone.
Okay.
And they're totally different characters, different locations. They have nothing together at all. They were just 3 separate Amish stories. Actually, the first one, which was Simple Wish, actually finaled for the Romance Writers of America's RITA. And I have the third, which is called A Noble Bond. And that one right now is finaled for the Selah Award for tonight's awards banquet. And the second one is A Promise to Honor, which is actually my favorite of all 3. And it's funny how when you write the book, you never know how it's going to be received by the readers. But for me, that one, I will say, is the only book, I've written 17 books now. A Promise to Honor is the only book that when I got my little box of books from the publisher, I opened it up, I sat down, I stopped what I was doing, and I read it cover to cover. As though it's like I cried at the end. I'm like, I love this book so much. And so it's just one of those books that, like I said, that is the only one I've ever done that with. Usually I don't read them. Yeah. But that one I just had to.
Wow. So tell us how you transition. Like did you have to do research?
Yes, I do a lot of research. So when I never set out to write an Amish story. The publisher contacted me and asked if I would consider writing an Amish for them. They were looking to start a line, and I thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it's going to look like. Never read an Amish book in my life. But yes. And then 4 days later, my appendix goes, and I ended up in the hospital. And then I thought, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have done this. But I'm so glad I stuck with it. I was able to, actually, this funny social media, you think, all the horrors of it all. But I actually met a woman on Twitter who lives in a town right on the Pennsylvania-Ohio line, and she interacts with the Amish in her community. And she actually is kind of like, she says, she jokes around and says the Amish invented Uber because she drives them around and she brings them places. And I just sent her a message and I say, could I come and meet you and have you drive me around and meet the Amish people? And she was wonderful. So I went out there and she took me into their homes and their businesses, and I was able to talk with them and kind of, interview them, but just really just talk and hang out and see how they live and get an appreciation for their life. And I came away that day, they're just people. Wow. They're just people. They joke around. They have definitely a different way of living, and for them it keeps their order, and it keeps everyone knowing what's expected of each other. And but they're still people. And they're just wearing different clothes.
Which would help getting dressed in the morning.
Yes. But yes, so research is definitely my favorite thing of everything I've done. So I've written a race car series. Oh. So I was able to go and ride the cars on the racetrack and feel what it actually feels like in one of those NASCAR cars. It's so hot. The heat just comes off the engine into the floor of the car, and you're just dripping. And when you go around those corners, it's like everything's like just like shaking, but you can't even turn your head because of the force, and you're just like, and you take those corners, and it's just wow. You just feel your whole body like ready to explode. Wow. So if I hadn't done that, I would not be able to write the story. So I have to put myself in the situations. I've gone scuba diving, but I always say I will never go skydiving. I will never jump out of a perfectly good plane. Never. Research definitely, which is funny because when I was little, in 5th grade, I tried to write my first book. Oh. And I wrote the book, and then I gave it to my mom to read. And I said, "Mom, will you read this?" And within 20 minutes, she started laughing. I'm like, I didn't write a comedy. She's like, I had put a character in the book, a male character, who answered the door with his towel wrapped around his head. She says, guys don't wrap towels around their heads. You need to do your research. Oh. And then I said, research? That sounds like homework. No, thank you. I'll stick to reading. And that was it. That was the only book I ever tried writing. Wow. Yeah. So then 2010, I'm flying across country, and a gentleman sitting next to me asked me this question that just stuck with me, and I thought, wow, that's a really interesting question. And then I tried to think, what would a story like that be? And I'm like, I don't think there is a story out there that even touches this topic. And by the time I landed out in California, I had this whole story in my head, and for the next 3 months, I sat down and I wrote a whole book, 136,000 words. Wow. Didn't know you can't sell 136,000 words because I knew nothing of the industry. But I had a book, and I couldn't believe I did it. So I bought it down to 90,000 and I sold it. And that was my first book, Real Virtue. Wow. Yeah, and that one has gone out of print, and hopefully I'm hoping to see if I can get it out there self-publishing now that I've got my rights back, and we'll see.
That's awesome. I didn't know how you became a writer.
Yeah. And then after that, Harlequin kind of picked me up, and that was it. They sent me on my way, and
been writing
ever since. Yeah. Wow. I never thought that it would become what I do. You know, my role and my identity. It's just, it is. My writing has become everything.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. So I always like to end with a fun question.
Okay.
So what would readers be surprised to know about you?
I have a fear of swings.
What? Of swings?
I do. When I was younger, I had an older brother, and we would go to the park, and he was much older than me, and kind of macho. And he would swing out as high as you can go, and he would jump off. Oh my God. But he would know what he was doing, and he would land on his feet, and that way. Yeah. So here I am, 3, 4 years old. My dad's pushing me and I am going flying out there, loving it. And I thought I'd be just like him. I get out there and I jump off my father. But ever since then, I sit in a swing and I literally can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, I have a fear of swings.
That's surprising for us to know, but understandable after you jump out of one at that age. That is
Yes,
very good.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
for being
thank
on
you.
Here.
Thank you. This was fun.
It was just exciting to meet you more. Let's get to interview you.
I have really
so.
enjoyed meeting you.
Yeah.
Really, yes, very special. Very special to me.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you.